Moving to the West. I'll let you pick where we want to start, but we got to end with the Wild. So actually, no, we're starting with Central Division path. Which series do you want first, Winnipeg or Colorado? And yes, I picked the low seed Colorado because I think they're the favorite.
You tell me so we're starting there?
We'll start there. And I think I wish, again, that both teams are fully healthy. And I would feel the same way regardless of health, probably. But, man, vibes have changed over the past month.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone was like, Dallas is winning the cup. This is Colorado series for me. Like, I'm pretty confident that you agree with this entirely, but I'm just going to say it from my perspective. Horrible value on their trade deadline process if you look long term. But guess what? If they win the cup this year, they give 0 fucks, and their team got notedly better with their trade deadline acquisitions. I love a lot of things about this roster, especially the center depth now, but you've got the blue line that they've got that I've always been high on. Goaltending has played well enough, which how crazy is it that they literally brought in 2 new goalies mid-season and it's working out? Like that does not happen.
Yeah.
And then you might have Landeskog playing at some point in the first round. This team has all of the vibes to go deep. Like, they're a scary team that no one wants to play. I do not like Dallas, but they have so many players that I love that it's like a weird conflict for me. Where I don't cheer for the team, but there's so many players. I'm like, yeah, good for you. Oh, fuck Dallas. Like, they still could absolutely win this series because they have enough difference makers that, like, you never know what they're going to pull. But I'm a Heiskanen truther. Like, he is a top 3 defenseman in the NHL. He is going to be sorely missed. Sorely missed. Robertson might be out now. Their blue line is awful. And I know he's a good goalie. I get very nervous about our good Lakeville, Minnesota native, the Otter. I don't know if I trust him to hold up against the siege that he's going to get from Colorado. And that's not saying, like, he's the better goalie in the series, but, like, it doesn't matter. Colorado is going to be coming hard. It's going to take their forwards carrying the load hard for Dallas to make this a series and potentially win it. I'll save my prediction for now. What are your thoughts on this series? Like, am I out to lunch, or do you agree, or somewhere in the middle?
No, I'm pretty much on the same page. Like you said, long term, the big questions about like the Avs deadline in general, but like also long term, Marty Necas has fit like a fucking glove, and he's continuing to just rip it up there. He looks unbelievable.
I thought he'd be a good fit. I never.
It's also crazy that we're getting this matchup in the first round now. The fact that Rantanen has made his way to Dallas and they're going to be playing in that first round. Curious to see the reception or like what that crowd looks like with him on the ice. But I mean, I guess I'm
ready for Nate Dogg to kill him.
But yeah, just the fact that like Robertson looks like he's not healthy. You're missing Heiskanen. That back end for Dallas just scares me in the bad way, scares me just as far as like the firepower that's coming from Colorado up and down that lineup. I'm definitely taking the Avs. If Dallas is able to get it done, it means that A, more than anything, we're getting prime Jake Ottinger, and B, honestly, like Mikko Rantanen, Dallas star Mikko Rantanen finally arrives. And like we're like waiting for him to just like take off, and it's like the Stars fans have been like, like this might be a big problem right now because he just hasn't really figured it out there. Grantland's been
problem this year, not next year.
But if Rantanen just has that like fuck you attitude coming in and just like lights it up, that's going to be for me like big factor for them if they were able to pull this off. But just given the way that Colorado plays, how explosive they are offensively,
Fire Voracek nailed it.
And they're going, yeah, I mean exactly. Like they're
starting
going up
against
a battered blue line in Dallas that already had major issues outside of Heiskanen. I'm going Colorado in 6. I do think Dallas, by the way, like that is another fucking, like, in the playoffs, that arena is nuts. It looks fucking huge. Like, it looks just like massive. Like, when they like zoom out and like play the whole crowd, it's fucking crazy there in the playoffs. So I think they eke out too, but I mean, Colorado right now is scary.
Well, you're putting me in a spot here because I don't want to say the same thing as you. So, balls on the table. Colorado in 5.
Dallas in 5.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Colorado in 5. Again, beginning of the season, I never imagined those words would come out of my mouth in any matchup, let alone this one. But Colorado has all the horses going for them right now. Mm-hmm. And like, this is one that like I'm very prepared to be wrong. Like even Dallas winning the series wrong. Like the 5-1 is not me saying, oh, they're just that much better. It's more, that's the way I see the series playing out. Like, we've seen 5-game series, they're super tight. We've seen 7-game series that like you trade winning by 3. I think this is going to be like high flying, high scoring, but like close competitive games. I don't see it being a ton of blowouts. I just see Colorado being the one that comes out on the right side of it 4 times and the wrong side once. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I view this. So it's not to shit on Dallas. I still think they're an incredible team. Like, if the Wild are playing them, we would get absolutely bludgeoned. But yeah, Colorado in 5, Colorado in 6 for you. So let's talk Winnipeg, St. Louis, which I think isn't being talked about enough as one of the most intriguing matchups that we have here in this postseason. Our boy Swerve 95. I hope the President's Trophy curse stands true. Let's just remove that. Like, this is a weird series for a lot of reasons. No?
Mm-hmm. No,
like, first off, another hot take that we addressed on Fellowship. I took it from Barstool Chief. I hate the Blackhawks, but he's usually pretty like unbiased and has decent takes most times. Someone was like basically defending the Blues, saying like, how can you think that they're dog shit, whatever. And he quote tweeted it because they mentioned the Jobu thing, which I'm sure you've seen. He says, actually, I'm just going to pull it up because it just warrants it at this point, I think, for me to give it proper justice reading it verbatim. So Barstool Chief's quote tweet says, if you're not terrified of the Blues having Jobu on their side, then you don't know anything about anything. They're a vibes org. This is like Gloria or that fucking rat YP had, which I don't know if you recall. Young Page Views had his chinchilla that he literally snuck into a hockey game. Crazy. And that's not even including, of course, Layla, who was like the greatest support person there. I think she's the one that propelled them through. It was either her or Brett Hull being absolutely annihilated every second of it, which rocks. I love that was a thing at all. Blues start the season like shit. Fire their coach. Make a couple of personnel changes. And weird, they've got the Jobu thing going. Like, you've got Jordan Bennington vibing hard. This team is going the right direction. Winnipeg, there's no reason to be worried about them except history. They do not perform in the first round, ever. It's never happened. Has Hellebuck been overrun? Do we have a healthy Ehlers? Like, there's little question marks like that, but it's less concerns with them. But those concerns also get added in and compounded with the Blues are fucking scary. I think Winnipeg would rather play Minnesota. True or false?
Yeah, probably. I mean, like, St. Louis is just coming in with endless vibes. And I mean, like, when Montgomery went there, you knew they were going to get a bump, because one thing about Jim Montgomery is he is really good at getting every ounce from a decent hockey team. And like, he knows how to make teams better than what they are. Like, I mean, even the last
look
couple
at the Bruins
years,
after he
left,
left.
Bruins being so good, like, that roster has like their roster, even the year that they set all those records, like there was some serious flaws in there too. And he's just able to like get every ounce from every guy in the lineup. I did not expect them to do it this well though. Like the fact that they went on like what was it, 11, 12 game win streak. You know, the last couple have been, I mean, whatever, they lost 2 of the last 4 or whatever. Who cares? But yeah, I mean, I think this is still a different Winnipeg Jets team than in years past. Like, not only are their top dogs scoring offensively, like just at a ridiculous clip, their team defense overall has just been incredible. And I mean, at this point, it feels like every other year we get one version of Connor Hellebuck. And if we want to go by history, this is the year that Connor Hellebuck's great in playoffs, just because last year was so bad. But yeah, I'm gonna end up taking Winnipeg, but this is gonna be a 7-game series. It's gonna be physical. It's gonna be probably not super not the most entertaining series as far as like high power offense, whatever. I think like it's gonna be super physical. But I do think that Winnipeg ends up getting it done in 7. I think Hellebuck's gonna have a really, really good series. But yeah, no, I just think top to bottom, like they're so deep, and like even like the depth forwards that Winnipeg has, like I was going through because they just re-signed Iafallo. I was looking at his defensive metrics. Yeah, the Pionk contract, which is like half crazy.
Dude, he could buy Duluth.
Yeah, yeah. But like, it's kind of like with where the cap's going, the role that he plays, it's kind of like the going rate for like a 3-4 anyway. I don't know. I think it was too much for me. Whatever. He's really good there for them. Like, I think that contract looks fucking horrific anywhere else, but like it works there. I don't know.
It's
Winnipeg. Sandberg have been really good.
It's Winnipeg. If a guy wants to stay that can play, you make it work.
He's like,
that's not a shot.
Took 7?
That's what they're working with.
He didn't want 17? Absolutely.
Here's my question, dude. Does this mean that my Lord and Savior Nicholas Ehlers Christ might be available?
Yes, I'm just gonna say yes because we need it. We need it to happen for one of us or both of us.
Oh my god! If he ends up in Pittsburgh or Minnesota, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, but either way, I'm taking Winnipeg. I'm taking them in 7. And I think it's gonna be entertaining from like a fucking just fun to watch, just not for like the hockey, but just for like the physicality and like how crazy it could get. Who knows? Like, let's say Winnipeg puts in 4 in the first period. Binnington might go fucking nuts. He might do something crazy. Game 1, make a statement, be a huge asshole.
He might fight Fleury.
He's gonna just leaves. To Vegas to fight Fleury.
So I think this is very much the same vibes for me as Washington, Montreal, where 2 games in, I don't even care. Like, let's say St. Louis wins both games, but like Winnipeg looks good. I'll completely flip the narrative and be like, Winnipeg's going to do it. But the way I feel right now, St. Louis in 6.
All right.
And I am very prepared after game 2 to be like, totally wrong, my bad. But going in, I have no reason to trust the Winnipeg Jets. I don't. Mm-hmm. I love the team on paper. I like a lot about what they have going on in general. There's just like too much bad juju around all of this. President's Cup, their history. Again, Hellebuck carried the load. He's going to win the Vezina. He could win the Hart. It just feels like all going to come crumbling down against this hot team that's coming in and people aren't going to give proper credit to. So Blues in 6, again, I don't feel great about it, but that's Hart. Head would be Winnipeg in 7, Hart, Blues in 6, and I'm going with the Hart.
Fair enough, dude. I don't think it's crazy.
All right, we got 1 quadrant left. Let's talk the nonsense. We already got into it a little bit, but I genuinely, like, there's so many angles and things you can pick apart in this Gretzky Bowl, LA versus Edmonton. Like, so confirm for me, Ekholm is out. He is likely not playing at all this series.
I haven't seen the actual confirmation, but it sounded like that was more likely than him.
Okay, then I'll just say it right now. That makes the decision for me. It's going to be LA. If there was a healthier, mostly healthy Ekholm, I'd probably be taking Edmonton. I think he is that much of a difference maker. Now, the challenge is this Edmonton team just went to the Stanley Cup final, barely lost in the end. You still have two of the best players on the planet. You still have depth at forward. You still have okay blue line. It's definitely not great. And the Kings have played great. I still don't love them on paper. I do not trust their goalie. I do not trust their blue line. Their forward depth is great. But, like, there's a lot of reasons to be nervous on both sides. And it's a really weird series where I think either team losing, it's going to be hard for them to live it down. You know? Like, usually it's like, oh, if this team loses, they'll never be able to get over it. But the other one, like, whatever, they're playing with house money. The amount of times that the Kings have played the Oilers, they cannot afford to lose. Like, you can't let that narrative continue, especially with how solid you've played this season and you got the home seed. But Edmonton, with how things went, you're going in the final year for McDavid. Like, you cannot go out in the first round. This is, for me, this series and Colorado-Dallas are the, I'd say the Florida matchup too. Like, those three series, whoever loses, it is going to fucking hurt bad. But if you're telling me there's likely no Ekholm, it's going to be LA. I just got to compute how many games it's going to be in. I don't know.
Yeah, so I just looked it up. All the most recent reporting is Ekholm misses at least the first round. So, and I just pulled up the preview on The Athletic between the two. You know what the odds are? 50-50. 50-50. And it's like offensive powerhouse versus elite defensive powerhouse. Like, it's a tale of two teams, obviously. But the fact that,
hard for me to wrap my head around elite defensive powerhouse
with Ekholm being out for the first round, and the fact that LA is one of, if not the best home team this year in the NHL, and they have home ice now. They're getting ridiculous scoring from all over the place too. Again, just how solid they've been defensively. Well, elite, how elite they've been defensively all year. I am gonna end up taking LA here. And again, the same thing. Like, I guess you could probably say you don't really know what goaltender you're gonna get for either team. But if Edmonton does pull this off, obviously you need fucking Draisaitl, McDavid to go nuts, which, like, they're probably going to regardless. And you also really need Stuart Skinner to be elite. I didn't really love Edmonton's deadline at all. LA brought in like a Kuzmenko who's like getting hot now too. I like LA in the series. The fact they have home ice, the fact that they're so good defensively, and the fact that Ekholm's going to be out the first round. I'm taking LA, and I'm going to go. I'll go 7. I'll say 7.
I'm saying LA in 6. Mostly for this one, they're taking care of the home games.
Yeah.
And
fair.
Honestly, I've said this in the past. There's usually like a series each year in the first round that I'll say this about. It's either LA in 6 or Edmonton in 7. I think if it goes to 7, Edmonton figures out how to win.
Yeah, I mean, again, LA at home, like
it is LA at home. I get that, but like in a game 7, I don't care who's at home at that point. Like, I'm more saying for the home thing, it's that LA is going to win all of their home games, and they just got to take one of those road games, and they got it in 6. If that makes sense. But for me, just the experience and the elite talent, like McDavid or Draisaitl is going to step up and win that game by themselves if it gets to 7. but I don't see it getting that far. And again, the biggest reason for me is Ekholm. Like, it's crazy to say that T.S. Ekholm is the difference maker for who wins this series, but like, he is that important to them with how meh their blue line is, you know?
Yeah, no, it is unbelievable how like drastically different that blue line is if you do not have Matthias Ekholm. Like one player completely alters all 6 defensemen. but yeah. Kevin Fiala scores a series-winning goal, by the way.
Yeah, that's the other thing that we didn't even like talk about is like some of the second round possibilities. Like, we'll obviously get into it with this. Like if it was Minnesota, LA, can you imagine?
Ugh.
Just the hate, the storylines, so many things there. But like, we could have the Kachucks playing each other in round 2. That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that would be pretty gnarly.
I tell you what, wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't be upset about it. I wouldn't not watch it, you know? But yeah, we'll talk with this. Oh, so we'll talk second round. It's a different day to discuss, but yeah, God, some of the matchups are just delicious though.
Yeah,
of course, because there's so many good first round matchups, you just know now it's gonna be like every fucking series is gonna be like a sweep or like 5. It's gonna suck. We're gonna get like just no fun fucking like 7-game series.
Yeah.
All right, so you got LA in 6. I'm taking LA in 7.
Yep.
So we got 1.
Then we got the final series, which will cover the series, and then we will get into just everything else. News around the Wild, which there is no shortage. This is a weird one for me, man. And I won't even take full credit. Like on another podcast, What Chaos? Shout out Pete Blackburn, who kind of no longer hates the Minnesota Wild. I'm waiting for him to kind of prove it, but whatever.
He's contractually obligated to hate it, you know? Fucking, he still has to.
On XC Everything app, he has said it, so it is real. But they kind of pointed out that Vegas has just had the weirdest, most un-Vegas year. In the sense that, like, they've been good. That's not the question. There's been no noise, no news. They didn't have a big splash at the deadline. They signed. They didn't trade. They signed a first-round pick.
It made me sick.
You know the ownership puked.
It's like, did what?
But, like, there's just, like, I feel like it's just, like, they're flying under the radar in such a weird way. And there's also like a little bit of uncertainty with like lingering injuries there, but largely I'm sure most of their guys are okay. But my thing is Jack Eichel terrifies me.
Oh yeah. That boy is a problem.
Even though he's got character flaws, we all know this. He's bad in the locker room, and that's a huge flaw, and no one should want to have him on their team. But
well, coffee is an asshole cough.
What he can do terrifies me. And they got a lot of guys on their team that are good. Like, that's not to like discredit. Like, I think I'm one of the bigger Tomas Hertl fans. I really thought there was a chance that maybe there was a way that the Wild could find a way to bring him in, but whatever. He's really the only thing that like scares me though. If Kaprizov can ramp up and get back to his game, which he hasn't yet, he does not look like himself. I even posted at the game that we'll talk about more against the Ducks, but like I posted, I'm like, holy shit, like Gudas literally just chased Kaprizov down at center ice. That's not good. But if he can get back to his game, Ek can stay healthy, our blue line is healthy, I think Philip Gustafsson alone, if everyone else is fine, he could win this series. I believe in him that much. He has been so good. People wanted him gone. He almost was gone. I never thought he would be this good. I still thought he could be our one, and I'm just so happy for him that it's worked out. But he is the X factor in all of this. Can he outduel the other goalie? And I think he absolutely can. Now, will that necessarily be enough? No. But that's the answer there. If Gustafson's not up to the task, we lose. If he is, buckle in. It's going to be a 6 or 7 game series going either way. What do you see being like the biggest factors to consider in this series on either team, whether it's matchup or whether it's just specifically what's going well or poorly for either team? Like, what stands out for narratives?
I mean, for me, the big thing, like, because I think it's crazy if anyone says like there's just no way that Minnesota could possibly, and like I'm gonna go with my heart. I'm gonna end up picking Minnesota just because like I'm such a fucking homer every time, whether it's like the fucking college tournament or it's I do this every time. I mean, realistically, yeah, I think like Vegas, I think the Athletic has like 73% to win the series, but I mean, I don't care about that either. The thing that is like the fact that it's like, oh, if Vegas, let's say, like if it comes to be that like Vegas just comes out and smashes them in like 5 games, it's special teams. Like that power play scares the fuck out of me. And so does Minnesota's penalty kill still. The past like couple of weeks, they've pulled off some like great ones. But like the fact that like they make one big kill, you're like, oh my God, is this the turn? They figured out special teams. Special teams for me are going to be terrifying. But the fact that they have Eriksson and Kaprizov back, potentially Booyam making his debut and giving you some offensive juice from the back end, like assuming they like deploy him correctly, like him with Bogosian kind of scares me. At the same time, like it's not like Booyam's a bad defenseman anyways. He's still solid, but
no, Z, you can only be good at offense or defense. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Although, hang on,
we've talked about this so many times. It drives me fucking crazy.
No. But to that point, we just have to pause quick because this is incredible. Let me pull up. Russo posted a conversation with Kirill Kaprizov about Z Booyam. I'm just going to read it verbatim because it's so good. Kirill Kaprizov had some great stuff today about Zeev, but this was the funniest. He's really good. I don't know how his defense is, but offense.
Damn it, Kirill.
Then Russo says he laughed hysterically at the joke. I'm just kidding. Then he says, I don't see him on defense. I just saw his highlights offense. And in the practice, we usually do some stuff on the power play and 1-on-1 or 1-on-0 or 2-on-1. I don't saw D-zone. I think he's good. He's a nice kid and so smart. I think. Skilled guy.
I think is great.
Just I don't know how his defense is, but offense had me peeing. That's it.
So
I don't know. It was so good.
God, that's phenomenal.
I'm so happy that Russo posted all of that, like verbatim.
That's phenomenal. So and like another side X factor that isn't really like an actual X factor, but you know it's gonna be. I bet it's on everyone's mind. I'm sure, even though he's not, it's unlikely that he gets any playing time unless it's all gone to hell. The fact that this is going to be the last run with Fleury in an NHL locker room, you know that's going to be at least on everyone's mind.
Totally.
So between that, potentially getting Booyam in that lineup, give you some like juice offensively from the back end and like quarterbacking that power play potentially like he did today in practice. We'll see.
Which is
and
awesome
then getting
now everyone's like freaking out, like, is he not? Oh, Hines playing it close to his chest, whatever.
Yeah. Well, then you get Kaprizov back, Eriksson X back, and Boldy the last couple weeks. That Boldy game against Dallas was one of the best games I've ever seen him play for Minnesota. He was unbelievable. And he's had a couple games where he has just been a beast. Obviously scored that overtime winner in that last game. Thank God.
No,
there's a little anxiety there. Can
we play a quick game?
Given the vibes, I like all of that coming in for Minnesota.
Well, let's play a quick game. Who's the asshole? because we all love Matt Boldy, and there's so many people that criticize him like way too much. I'm also not going to be one that's going to sit here and glaze him. And we're getting beers at Loose Line. Again, everyone go out to Plymouth and check them out.
Love it.
And Isha says he's just glad that Boldy finally came in and proved himself as like a franchise guy. And I damn near spit out my beer because I don't think he's proven that at all. He has had really good games. And when he's on, he looks every bit that part. He's still disappeared for half the season. And I don't care who's out of the lineup. Like, if you want to prove yourself as a franchise guy, you do it without the other guys around you. I still have all the hope and optimism that he will be that kind of guy. But am I the asshole for saying he absolutely didn't prove that this year? Or is Isha the asshole for thinking that having like the stretches that he did that were good qualifies as like, yep, you're a franchise guy?
I mean, I don't know. I don't have him there yet. I've seen enough to be like, I believe he's going to prove himself to be that. Right. So I'm with your optimism. But yeah, I mean, like, obviously,
like there's been big lulls this year, right? Like there's still concern.
I also still do think it's pretty tough to like gauge any player on this roster, given how insane this year was as far as like injuries. Like this was like, it's insane top to bottom in the organization in general, NHL, AHL, like everywhere, how bad the injuries were. So yeah, it's still tough to gauge, but I'm with you though. Like I believe he's going to be, and I've seen like, again, like when you have those games against like Dallas where he just was a fucking monster. Yeah, we've seen the flashes. It's tough to gauge like the season as a whole, just given how fucked up the whole year was. But I've seen enough to believe it's going to be. Yeah, I'm with you.
Because like, again, like what you're saying isn't untrue. And I'm not trying to shit on him and say that he's bad or anything like that. Pittsburgh Penguins, do they have a good roster?
No.
Is their roster worse than the Wild's?
Mm-hmm.
How'd Sidney Crosby do this year?
Right. Well, I mean, I'm not
saying he's Sidney Crosby, but my point is,
yeah,
you can carry the load on your own. I'm not saying every single game, every second, you have to be putting up 3 points a game. Like, I'm just saying, for him to disappear for the long stretches that he did and like literally be invisible for a handful of games, that is not a franchise player. That's my point.
Yeah, no, again, I think we're saying the same thing. He's not there yet, but
I know.
I've seen the flash of the ability. I mean, you could say something.
Boston. Counter to using the roster and the injuries as a defense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and you could say the same thing in Boston. What David Pastrnak just did,
right? Yeah, Pasternak's end of the year.
Holy fuck.
That is a franchise player. And I think Boldy has the talent and he's going the right direction. And like Marcus Foligno, when asked about like, hey, how have you seen Boldy change this year? Nothing about the ice. Like, he's one of the leaders now. Like, he's become more vocal. He stepped in when things are going bad. He's going the right direction. Yeah. He's still young. I have all the faith in him. I'm just saying he has not put that stamp on paper.
Yeah, and I think like a big contributing factor to like which way this conversation goes is just fucking like social media just being like it's one or the other, and if he's not a franchise guy, then he never will. It's like just dealing in absolutes or whatever. It's like, yeah, I mean, he's still super young early on in this contract, and like I think we've seen the flashes to believe that he's on the pathway to being thought of as like a franchise guy. Just waiting, or just not there completely yet, but like you've seen the flashes, so it's like it doesn't have to be like an absolute one or the other thing.
For sure. And I do think we already kind of hit on it, but like Cole says here, I straight up don't trust Aiden Hill and net for them. Mm-hmm. That is the difference, right? Like Gustafsson is notedly better. We've seen Hill perform. Like he can be that guy, especially for a 7-game series, but that is where we absolutely outshine them.
Yeah. It's also tough when you spell it ADIN. You just can't, what are we doing? Why is that the way you spell it? It's also funny, and I also agree with Cole. I'm preface that. It's also funny to say that about a guy that won a cup 2 years ago. But I am on the same page though. Like I was shocked when he got into the first time.
No, very fair. I will say too, the biggest thing for me that's a positive for the Wild, because like I want to bring some positivity here because I think there's a lot of people like across the league that are just like ignoring this series. Like they probably lump this one close to the Carolina, New Jersey vibes. And I brought this up on Fellowship of the Rink that dropped earlier today, but if the Wild lose to the Ducks, regulation like they almost did, and get into the playoffs because the Flames can't take care of business tonight, it is such a different vibe and feel for the team going in. Right now, they are riding the craziest emotional vibe. They rallied to win that game and lock their playoff spot, which is awesome. But then everything with Fleury, all of it has them going in such a different mindset than if they like backed their way in, sweating it out, watching another team lose. I think it puts them in a completely different spot. That game one, here's my stance. If we're going to talk predictions, I think Vegas wins in 7. I think the Wild take game 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wild take game 1. Vegas takes the next 2. We knot it up on the second one at home. And then from there, we alternate. They take it in 7. But like if I'm betting, man, I'm taking Vegas. There's so many reasons if you look up and down the roster. But, man, if our blue line is firing on all cylinders, if Gustafson's on top of his game, and we get the real Kirill Kaprizov back, this is a very winnable series. It really is. I'm just not personally going to bet on it.
It's like, is it winnable? Yes. The thing is, how many ifs we had to just say to get, you know what I mean?
But I think the only if that really worries me is Kaprizov. I think the blue line is going to stand up.
It's crazy. Like looking at their numbers, even when they had half of like a full team, like defensively, their numbers have stayed quite like as far as like they give up high volume, low quality.
But is that a result of their lack of offense? Like, is that them adjusting their game to accommodate for the fact that they know they're not putting up as many goals?
Well, yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, sure. But that's been their like identity for a long, like they've always been a pretty solid like defensive team anyways. But I'm with you though. I'm just going with the heart pick. I'm going Wild in 7. Probably
make me an asshole.
Like
Got
6 because going back to Vegas for a game 7 isn't ideal, obviously. But
yeah, so Russo's prediction. Everyone should watch Fellowship of the Rink, and I'm not saying this, but Russo said Vegas in 6, and Joe immediately is like, I'm gonna say Vegas in 7 because that means that Russo gets to take one more trip to Vegas, and I know that'd make him really happy.
It's a good guy. That's a team guy. I
literally opened the interview by congratulating Russo that he gets to go to Vegas instead of Winnipeg.
Russo was shitting himself for so many weeks. He's like, I either am gonna end up in Vegas or Winnipeg, and I'm losing my fucking mind.
It is like the most polar opposite result for him. His least favorite and most favorite places to go.